On the day the college entrance exam results were released, I found out that my sister had been accepted into a top military academy. The whole family was ecstatic, and my sister Lin Wei was so emotional that we hugged and cried, but I just smiled. In my previous life, she used my name and medical report to take the admission letter I had dreamed of. She became a heroic female officer. While I lost all opportunities because my records had been replaced, she even sent a letter to humiliate me. Sister, your health is so poor, you shouldn't suffer in the military. This is for your own good. In this life, I secretly took banned drugs for 3 months before the physical examination. Didn't you want to go in my place? Then you can also go through the ordeal of the political review and re-examination for me. 1. In the living room, Lin Wei was surrounded by her parents and her fiancé, Shin Che. The man who was also my fiancé in my past life was now looking at her with adoration in his eyes. Lin Wei leaned against his chest and said weakly, "Ah Che, I'm scared, the military life is so tough. What if I can't handle it?" Shin Che gently stroked her hair and spoke in a tone I had never heard from him before. "Don't be afraid, I'm here. As for your sister, she's frail and doesn't know what's good for her. Don't let her affect you in the future." Bang! The champagne cork shot toward the ceiling. The golden liquid frolicked and danced in the crystal glasses, and the sound of bursting bubbles was drowned out by the joyous laughter filling the room. "Come, to the heroine of our family, to the glory of the Lin family. Cheers, Dad." Lin Jiangwo, beaming with a ruddy complexion, raised his glass high as if he himself had been admitted to the military academy. Mom, Wang Shumei, had tears glistening at the corners of her eyes, wiping them away while smiling. "My Weiwei is truly accomplished. From now on, you belong to the nation. Mom is so proud of you." Surrounded by the crowd, Lin Wei, dressed in a pure white dress, was crying pitifully, her tears falling like pear blossoms in the rain. She took the tissue Shin Che handed to her and sobbed, "Mom, Dad, it's all because of your upbringing. I was just lucky." As she spoke, her eyes subtly glanced in my direction, carrying a hint of barely noticeable provocation and pride. Leaning against the corner of the sofa, I held a glass of plain water and quietly watched this celebration prepared for me. Yet where I was not the center of attention, I laughed, a genuine, joyful laugh from the heart. Shin Che noticed my expression, his brows instantly furrowing, the warmth in his eyes dropping to freezing point. "Lin Nian, what are you laughing at?" His voice wasn't loud, but it was enough to halt the revelry in the living room. Everyone's gaze was fixed on me. Mom Wang Shumei's face immediately darkened. "Lin Nian, your sister got into the military academy, and you're not happy for her. Instead, you're here laughing with that sarcastic tone. What are you up to?" "That's right," Lin Wei immediately chimed in, her voice tinged with just the right amount of grievance. "Sister, I know you didn't do well on this exam and you're feeling upset, but you can't act like this. Military school is my dream too." As she spoke, her eyes reddened again, as if I had committed some unforgivable crime. "Your dream?" I set down the water glass and slowly stood up. "Wasn't your dream to become a fashion designer? When did you decide to trade the pen for the sword?" Lin Wei's face turned pale. She was momentarily at a loss for words and looked toward Shin Che for help. Shin Che immediately stepped in front of her, shielding her, and warned me, "Lin Nian, that's enough. Weiwei has such awareness and courage. You should support her. Not stand here making sarcastic remarks." "Support," I repeated the word, finding it utterly ironic. "Fine, I'll support her. I fully support her going." I looked at Lin Wei and said, word by word, "After all, it's my name, my ID number, and my medical report being used. If she doesn't go, should I go instead?" The air instantly froze. My parents' faces turned extremely grim. "What nonsense are you talking?" Lin Jiangwo slammed his hand on the table. "That was something we pulled strings to change for your sister. Your health is so poor. You'd collapse in a gust of wind. Joining the military would be like sending yourself to your death. Weiwei going in your place is accumulating blessings for you." "That's right, sister." Lin Wei hid behind Shin Che, only revealing her tear-filled eyes. "I'm sorry, it's all my fault. I begged Mom and Dad. I didn't want to see sister suffer in such a harsh place. Sister, please don't blame Mom and Dad. If you want to blame someone, blame me." Look, such classic green tea lines. I'm too lazy to put on an act with them, so I laid my cards on the table. Fine, I don't blame you. I wish Lin Wei a bright future and immediate success. After saying that, I turned around to go back to my room, but Shin Che grabbed my wrist with such force that it felt like he was about to crush my bones. He lowered his voice and whispered in my ear, Lin Yan, drop this disgusting act of yours. Wei Wei is kind-hearted, unlike you, venomous and foolish. You'd better behave yourself at tonight's banquet, or I'll make sure you lose even the right to stay in this house. His words were cold and cruel. I shook off his hand and looked up into those eyes that had once made me fall for him. Shin Che, you will soon find out who is truly the venomous and foolish one. I didn't look at them again and walked straight back to my room, locking the door. Outside the door, Lin Wei's crying, my parents' comforting words, and Shin Che's remark, don't cry. It's not worth getting upset over someone like that, came through clearly. I lay in bed, feeling the slight tremors brought on by the medicine slowly flowing through my bloodstream. Don't rush, the real show was just beginning. Early the next morning, I was woken by the sound of talking in the living room. It's Shin Che and Lin Wei. Che, are we really going to do this? Won't sister be too pitiful? Lin Wei's voice was so delicate it seemed as if it could be squeezed to produce water. Pitiful. Shin Che sneered, didn't you see how she acted yesterday? She doesn't know what's good for her. My mother was right. The engagement was arranged long ago, but the choice must be someone worthy of our Shin family. You're smart, sensible, and about to become an officer. You are the most suitable candidate. But after all, that was sisters. There are no buts. Shin Che interrupted her, with Lin Yan's temperament. Marrying into our family would only bring trouble. Wei Wei. You don't need to worry about this. Leave it to me and my mom to handle. Your most important task right now is to prepare for your enrollment at the military academy. I leaned against the door, listening to the conversation outside that would decide my fate. My heart completely numb. In my past life, it was the same. The Shin family and my family have been close friends for generations. The engagement between Shin Che and me was arranged since we were children. I once thought that would be my lifelong destiny. I studied hard and exercised intensely, hoping to get into the military academy, just so I could stand by his side. Back then, he wasn't exactly warm toward me, but he was gentle and polite. He would tutor me with my studies, visit me when I was sick, and take me to the military compound to watch him train. I thought that was love, until Lin Wei also showed interest in Shin Che. She started imitating me, wearing clothes in my style, reading the books I liked, and even clumsily following Shin Che around, trying to mimic my behavior. At first, Shin Che was indifferent to her, but Lin Wei's methods were too clever. She always acted dependent on and admiring of me in front of me, but behind my back. She kept hinting to Shin Che that I was in poor health, had a strong personality, and was not suitable to be the Shin family's daughter-in-law. A single drop of water, 1 or 2 days, doesn't show much. Day after day, even the sturdiest dam will be eroded. Shin Che's gaze towards me slowly changed, from gentle to indifferent, then to impatient, and finally to disgust. The last straw that broke the camel's back was that military academy acceptance letter. When he chose to believe Lin Wei's words and thought I was jealous and couldn't tolerate my sister, I knew it was all over. The sound of footsteps faded away outside the door. I opened the door, and my mother, Wang Shumei, was standing there holding a bowl of porridge, with a feigned look of concern on her face. Nian Nian, you're awake. Come on, drink this bowl of bird's nest porridge to nourish your body. Look at you. Your face is as pale as paper. I looked at her and found it ridiculous. Now you know I'm not in good health. Wang Shumei's face stiffened for a moment, then she forced a smile again. You silly child, what nonsense are you talking? When have I ever not cared about you? Hurry up and drink it. I have something to tell you after you finish. I didn't move. She stood there awkwardly for a while, then decided to lay her cards on the table. Nian Nian, the Shin family, you've heard about it too. Aunt Shin means that Wei Wei has better prospects than you now. And she's more suitable for Shin Che than you are. Look, about your engagement with Shin Che, why don't you just let Wei Wei have it? She used a tone of negotiation, but her eyes were full of command. Don't worry, we won't treat you unfairly. Once you've recovered, Mom will find you a good marriage arrangement, one that's definitely no worse than the Shin family's. I looked at her and suddenly asked, Mom, Do you remember when I was allergic to mangoes as a child and almost died? Wang Shumei was taken aback. Why bring that up out of the blue? I remember, that day you and Dad took Lin Wei to the amusement park. I was home alone and accidentally ate the mango cake you left in the refrigerator. I called you over a dozen times, but you never answered. My voice was very calm, as if I were telling someone else's story. Later, it was the neighbor aunt who found me in shock and took me to the hospital. The doctor said if it had been 10 minutes later, I wouldn't have made it. Wang Shumei's face grew increasingly pale, her lips trembling. I had my phone on silent at the time. I didn't hear. Yeah, you didn't hear it. I twitched the corner of my mouth, just like now. You can't hear what my heart is saying either. I took that bowl of porridge and, under her astonished gaze, walked to the balcony and directly poured it into the flower bed downstairs. Tell the Shin family that I agree to call off the engagement. I turned around and looked at Wang Shumei, whose face had turned deathly pale. However, it's not about giving way, it's that I don't want it anymore. Shin Che, along with your Lin family's nauseating affection. Lin Yen, don't care for it. 3. My words exploded like a bomb in the Lin family. Lin Jiangwo was so furious that he rushed over, raising his hand to strike me. You ungrateful daughter, who do you think you are? What right do you have to say you don't want it? Our Lin family raised you all these years, and now that we ask you to contribute a little to the family, this is the attitude you give us. I didn't dodge, staring straight into his eyes. The slap ultimately didn't land, as Wang Shumei stopped it. Old Lin, what are you doing? The child doesn't understand, just talk to her properly. She then turned to persuade me. Nian Nian, don't say things in anger. What kind of family is the Shin family, if you break off the engagement? How will you ever get married in the future? Whether I get married or not is none of your concern. I walked past them and returned to my room, rebellious. This is absolutely rebellious. Lin Jiangwo was stomping his feet in anger outside. In the afternoon, Shin Che arrived. He came alone, holding a velvet box in his hand. He placed the box on the table in front of me and opened it. Inside was the sapphire necklace that my grandmother had left me, in my previous life. He did the same thing, borrowing this necklace from me to give to Lin Wei, who was about to enter military school, under the guise of sharing some luck in this life. Because I flipped the table ahead of time, he actually returned it in person. Lin Yen, I know you're upset. His attitude was humble, but his tone still carried a condescending air of charity. Calling off the engagement was my fault. I acted too hastily. But Wei Wei and I, we're sincere. She's kind, pure, not like you. He paused, as if searching for the right word. Unlike me what? I finish for him. Unlike me, who's so vicious, so ungrateful, so unfit for any decent occasion, right? Shin Che's expression darkened. That's not what I meant. That's exactly what you meant. I picked up the necklace, its cool surface sending a chill through my fingertips. Shin Che, you don't need to explain anything to me. Who you want to marry is your freedom. But let me tell you this. Don't think you can enjoy Lin Wei's kindness and innocence while putting on this act of undying affection for me. Don't you find that hypocritical? I haven't. He seemed stung by my words, his voice rising a notch. Towards you, I've always. What have you always been doing? I interrupted him. Always treating me as a candidate for a fiancé who meets your standards, an accessory to showcase your status. Shin Che, what you love is the woman who becomes Mrs. Shin. Not me. Lin Yen. He was left speechless by my words. After a long pause, he finally squeezed out a sentence through gritted teeth. Unreasonable, right? I am unreasonable, I said, putting the necklace back around my own neck. So take your engagement and go find your reasonable Lin Wei. From now on, don't show up in front of me again. Lin Yen, he suddenly stood up, looking down at me from above. Don't you regret this? Without me, without the Lin family, you are nothing. Is that so? I looked up and met his gaze. We'll see. Shin Che ended up storming out, slamming the door behind him. That evening, the Lin family held a family trial. Me, Lin Jiangwo, Wang Shumei, and Lin Wei. The four of us sat in the living room, the atmosphere heavy. Lin Yen, you must give me an explanation today. Lin Jiangwo was the first to lash out. What did you say to Shin Che? He looked so upset when he left. Are you deliberately trying to ruin your sister's marriage? Sister, why are you treating HA like this? Lin Wei's eyes were red from crying. He just wanted your blessing. We're still going to be a family in the future. A family? I laughed. Lin Wei, search your conscience and ask yourself, have you ever treated me as family? Enough, Wang Shumei sharply cut me off. Lin Yan, haven't you caused enough trouble? Now, you have two choices. First, go apologize to Shen Che immediately and beg for his forgiveness. Second, pack your things and get out of this house. This is the final ultimatum. It is also the last straw that breaks the camel's back. I looked at the three faces before me, faces I once believed to be my closest kin, their expressions, some angry, some aggrieved, some icy cold, held not a trace of warmth. My heart, the heart that once beat and ached for them, in that moment, turned completely cold and hardened into stone. I stood up without saying a word, turned around, and went back to my room. Behind me came Wang Shumei's scream, Lin Yan, what's your choice? I opened the wardrobe, which contained only a few slightly worn clothes. I took out a small suitcase and started packing. I didn't have many belongings, and soon everything was packed. When I walked out of the room pulling my suitcase, all three of them froze. A flicker of panic flashed in Lin Wei's eyes, but it was soon replaced by a hint of smug delight. Lin Jiangwo and Wang Shumei's faces were filled with shock and disbelief. Perhaps in their eyes, I was weak, submissive, only capable of crying and enduring. How could I possibly dare to actually leave? I walked to the door and changed my shoes. As I placed my hand on the doorknob, I turned back and took one last look at this so-called home. I choose the second option. I said, from today onward, I, Lin Yan, am cutting all ties with your Lin family. For, I dragged my suitcase, walking on the deserted street late at night. The summer night breeze carried a hint of restlessness, but as it brushed against me, I felt no warmth. I was penniless. My ID card and bank card were all locked in the safe by Wang Shumei. I only took the one photo of me and my grandmother, and the sapphire necklace around my neck. I don't know where to go. The side effects of the medication in my body began to show, with waves of dizziness and nausea washing over me, making my steps increasingly unsteady. Just as I was about to collapse, my phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. I hesitated but answered anyway. Hello, it's me. On the other end of the line was a clear and pleasant male voice. I was taken aback for a moment before I realized, Jiang Sun, my grandmother's former attending physician, was also the only person who knew all my secrets. He was the one who prescribed me those prohibited medications, and helped me forge my medical records. Where are you? His voice sounded somewhat anxious. I gave him the name of an intersection. Don't move. I'll be right there. The phone call ended. I sat down leaning against the roadside railing, hugging my knees, watching the endless stream of car lights in front of me, my vision gradually blurring. In less than 10 minutes, a black SUV stopped in front of me. The car door opened, and Jiang Sun, wearing a white lab coat, quickly walked toward me. He saw my pale face and the suitcase at my feet, his brow furrowing tightly. Did they kick you out? I shook my head, then nodded. You could say I left on my own. He didn't ask any more questions, took off his own coat and draped it over me, then scooped me up into his arms. Let's go to the hospital first. I had no strength to resist, letting him put me into the back seat of the car. The car was heated, and my tense nerves finally relaxed a little, my consciousness beginning to drift away. In a daze, it felt as if I had returned to a past life. Lin Wei, wearing a dashing military uniform, stood under the spotlight, receiving everyone's praise and applause. Shen Che stood by her side, his eyes filled with affection, and I, curled up in a dimly lit rented room, coughing up blood, watched the myriad lights of the city outside. Not a single one shining for me. Lin Yan, someone was calling my name. I suddenly opened my eyes and met Jiang Sun's worried gaze. Did you have a nightmare? He handed me a glass of warm water. I then realized I was already in a hospital room, with N4 drip still attached to my hand. Thank you, I said as I took the water, my voice hoarse. Don't be so formal with me. He sat on the chair by the bed. The dosage of the medication in your body has reached a critical level. You can't take any more. You need to focus on recuperating from now on. I nodded. I know, considering the timing, it should be about right. Jiang Sun was right. I couldn't take any more, because tomorrow is the day Lin Wei, using my identity, goes to the military academy to report and undergo the final physical re-examination and political screening. The door to the broad and smooth path that had opened for her was about to become a one-way ticket to hell, just as I was thinking this. Jiang Sun's phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID and handed it to me. "It's for you. It's Shin Che." I didn't answer. The phone rang persistently, over and over again. Finally, Jiang Sun answered for me, putting it on speakerphone. "Where is Lin Yan?" Shin Che's voice was filled with suppressed anger. "Mr. Shin, Lin Yan is not available to take the call right now." Jiang Sun's tone was calm. "Who are you? Put her on the phone." Shin Che's command came as a matter of course. "I am her doctor." "She needs rest now, doctor," Shin Che sneered. "What trick is she playing now? Running away from home, pretending to be sick, seeking sympathy. Lin Yan, I'm telling you, these tactics won't work on me. Get back here right now." Every word he spoke felt like venomous nails being brutally driven into my heart. Even though I had already decided to give up, hearing those words still made my heart ache with a dense, piercing pain. I took the phone from Jiang Sun, pressed it to my ear, and with all my strength, said clearly, "Shin Che, listen carefully. I wish you and Lin Wei 100 years of happiness, and a childless future." After saying that, I hung up the phone directly, blocked the number, all in one smooth motion. The hospital room returned to silence. Jiang Sun looked at me with a complex expression. "Is it worth it?" I didn't answer. The next day, the entire Lin family turned out in full force, sending Lin Wei off to the military academy with great fanfare. They thought it was the beginning of a grand future. Lying in the hospital bed, I watched the bright sunshine outside the window, quietly awaiting the arrival of judgment. 3 in the afternoon, my phone vibrated. It was a message from Jiang Sun. Just one sentence. "The fish is in the net. Re-examination procedure initiated. Samples expedited to the Capital General Hospital. Due to involvement of prohibited drugs, the person has been detained on site. First level response activated." I looked at that text message and laughed. The surging emotions in my chest made me cough violently, and my vision went dark in waves. A wave of dizziness washed over me, and I reached out to press the call button by the bed, but I couldn't even lift a finger. My body had finally reached its limit. Just before my consciousness was completely swallowed by darkness, I seemed to see Lin Wei in prison clothes, cursing me with venomous hatred from behind the iron bars. "How nice. It's perfect that you're walking through this hell in my place." 5. When I woke up again, the sky outside the window had already turned dark. The familiar scent of disinfectant filled my nose. Jiang Sun was sitting by the bed, peeling an apple. The light cast a soft halo around him, awake. He noticed my eyes were open and set down the fruit knife. "How do you feel? Hungry?" I licked my chapped lips. It was the most direct sensation I felt. He laughed and placed the bowl of plain congee and side dishes he had prepared earlier in front of me. "I knew you'd be hungry." I drank 2 bowls of congee in a row. My stomach felt warm, and I regained some of my strength. "How are things over there?" I asked. What else could happen? Jiang Sun handed me the apple he had peeled and cut into small pieces. The military academy detained him directly. The preliminary test came back positive, and the samples were sent overnight to the main institute for detailed analysis. Given the severity of the situation, the military security department has stepped in directly and set up a special task force. He paused for a moment, then continued. "That good sister of yours probably has never seen such a situation before. Her psychological defenses shattered at the slightest touch, and she confessed everything on the spot: impersonation, falsifying records. She admitted to every single thing, one after another. This outcome was within my expectations. Lin Wei has been spoiled rotten and has always had things go her way. How could she possibly withstand that kind of pressure? What about my parents?" He was also taken away to assist in the investigation. Jiang Sun looked at me. "Lin Yan, this matter will soon be settled. Are you ready?" I understood what he meant. Lin Wei has fallen, and the charge of impersonation has been exposed. In theory, that spot should then return to its rightful owner, which is me, Lin Yan. I shook my head. With my current health, I can't go anymore. Those drugs have long since hollowed out my foundation. In this lifetime, I am destined to have no connection with the military camp. But it's okay, what I wanted was never that spot to begin with. What I want is for all of them to pay the price for what they have done. Just as we were speaking, the door to the hospital room was suddenly pushed open. Shin-chae burst in, his eyes bloodshot and his suit jacket crumpled. Looking utterly disheveled, he stared at me intently, his eyes filled with the oppressive tension before a storm. "It was you, wasn't it?" He stepped closer to me, one step at a time. "You planned everything. You ruined Weiwei, I ruined her." Looking at him in this accusatory state, I found it utterly ridiculous. "Shin-chae, can you think before you speak? It was Lin Wei who used my name, took my files, and went to military school in my place. Not me. What she did was fraud, a crime. Getting caught was her own fault. But you clearly knew she would go, and yet you still, and I still what?" I met his gaze. "I still took medicine before the physical exam." "Yes, I did. So what, if she hadn't stolen my life? Those pills would only have ruined me, since she wanted so badly to be me. Of course I had to give her a big gift. This is called, seek and you shall find." My confession instantly turned Shin-chae's face deathly pale. He probably never expected me to admit it so straightforwardly. How did you become like this?" he murmured to himself, his eyes filled with unfamiliarity and disbelief. "You weren't like this before. You used to be kind, gentle." "Kind, gentle," I laughed out loud. "My kindness was taken for foolishness, my gentleness was trampled underfoot." "Shin-chae, it was you and the Lin family who personally killed that former Lin Yan." "No, that's not it." He seemed to want to explain something. Just then, steady footsteps sounded at the door of the hospital room. Two men in military uniforms, with stern expressions, walked in. The one leading them, bearing the rank of a field officer on his shoulders, had a gaze as sharp as an eagle's. He scanned the room and finally fixed his eyes on me. "Are you Lin Yan?" I nodded. "I am Zhang Qi from the General Political Department Security Bureau. Regarding the malicious replacement of your military enlistment file, we need you to come with us to provide a detailed statement." His voice carried not a trace of emotion. I looked at Jiang Sun, and he nodded at me. I pushed back the covers and prepared to get out of bed. Shin-chae suddenly rushed over, blocking my way, and said to the officer, "Sir, there's a misunderstanding here." Zhang Qi impatiently cut him off. "Who are you?" "I am Shin-chae, from the Eastern Theater Command." "I don't care who you are." Zhang Qi's eyes turned cold. "We are handling this case according to the law. Please step aside and do not obstruct official duties." Shin-chae's face turned pale, then flushed with anger. He had probably never been treated like this in his entire life. I stepped around him and calmly said to Zhang Qi, "Sir, I'll go with you." 6. The office of the General Political Department Security Bureau was solemn and dignified. The words, "Loyalty, Justice," on the wall shone brightly under the light. I sat behind the interrogation table, facing Zhang Qi and a young recorder. The entire process was simpler than I had imagined. I didn't hide anything, nor did I exaggerate. I simply recounted the entire sequence of events exactly as they happened, from how Lin Wei twisted the facts to persuade my parents, to how they used connections to alter the records, and then to how Shin-chae favored Lin Wei and forced me to break off the engagement. Of course, I changed the way I described the part about me taking the medication voluntarily. I've had poor health since I was young and have been secretly taking a special medicine bought from abroad to regulate my body. I didn't know the ingredients in that medicine were prohibited. I just wanted so badly to get into the military academy. I was afraid I'd be rejected because of my health. As I spoke, I squeezed out a few tears at just the right moment, and with my pale complexion, it looked extremely convincing. I never expected that my sister would do such a thing. She took everything from me. And she also took this ticking time bomb away with her. Zhang Qi had been listening quietly all along. Without interrupting me, after I finished speaking, he finally spoke, his voice softening a bit. "Your attending physician is Jiang Sun, yes. Can he testify about your medical history?" "Got it." Zhang Qi nodded and said to the recorder, "Notify the General Military Hospital to verify Lin Yan's medical records." He turned back to look at me. "Comrade Lin Yan, you've been wronged. The military will not let any lawbreaker go unpunished, nor will it wrong an innocent person. Please rest at the guest house for now. Once the investigation is concluded, we will give you a proper explanation." I was assigned to a clean room at the guest house. Jiang Sun arrived shortly after. bringing me a change of clothes and some daily necessities. "It's all taken care of," he said. "The hospital has complete records. It's seamless, thank you, Jiang-sun." This time, my gratitude was genuine. Without him, my plan wouldn't have gone so smoothly. "Silly," he said, ruffling my hair with a natural and affectionate gesture. "Your grandmother entrusted you to me, so of course I have to take good care of you. Rest well, and leave the rest to me." The next 2 days were calm and uneventful. On the third day, Zhang-Chi came to see me again. "The matter has been basically clarified." He handed me a document. "Lin Wei has confessed to all the criminal acts. She will be transferred to a military court and charged with fraud and damaging military family relations. Your parents, suspected of harboring and abusing their authority, are also under double designation investigation. As for Shin-Che," he paused and looked at me. "Although he was not directly involved, as someone who was aware of the situation, he has serious issues of negligence and stance. He will retain his military status and position, but will receive a major demerit. Moreover, his engagement to Lin Wei must be terminated immediately." This outcome was even better than I had anticipated. "I understand." I calmly signed my name. "There's one more thing," Zhang-Chi said. "Your enlistment slot, after deliberation by the superiors, is still valid. However, considering your physical condition, we recommend you take a 1-year leave of absence from school to recuperate and report next year. Are you willing?" I lifted my head and looked at him. From his eyes, I saw sincerity and regret. I shook my head. "Thank you for your kindness, sir, but I won't be going." Zhang-Chi was stunned. "Why?" "This is the opportunity you've always dreamed of." "Because my dream has already been destroyed by them." I smiled bitterly. "Right now, I just want to start a new life." Walking out of the security department building, the sunlight was blinding. Shin-Che was waiting at the entrance. After not seeing him for a few days, he had become much more haggard. A stubble had grown on his chin, and his eyes were filled with exhaustion and regret. "Nian Nian," he called my name, his voice hoarse. I ignored him and kept walking straight ahead. He caught up and stopped me. "Let's talk." "Okay, just 5 minutes. There's nothing to talk about between us." "Yes." He stubbornly looked at me. "I know I was wrong, Nian Nian. I truly know I was wrong. I shouldn't have doubted you, shouldn't have favored Lin Wei. Give me another chance." "Okay, chance." I looked at him, feeling this scene was absurdly ridiculous. "Shin-Che, have you forgotten what you said? You said I was disgusting. Said I didn't know what was good for me. Said I wasn't even qualified to stay in the Lin family." His face instantly drained of color. I was just angry at the time. Words spoken in anger are the true words from the heart." I interrupted him. "Shin-Che, you have never loved me. What you love is just the image of a perfect Mrs. Shin who meets all your criteria. Before, you thought that person was me. Later, you thought Lin Wei was more suitable. That's all there is to it." "No. That's not true." He grabbed my arm excitedly. "It's you I love. It's always been you." I looked at him and suddenly felt it was all so pointless. "Shin-Che, did you know, in the political review for military school, there's a section about family relationships. Among the charges Lin Wei is facing, one is called the crime of undermining military family relationships." I watched his face gradually turn deathly pale, and I spoke each word clearly and distinctly. "And you, Shin-Che, as my former fiancé, have played a rather disgraceful role in this farce. Do you have any idea how much this review report, once submitted, will impact your future?" I didn't look at the despair on his face any longer. I turned around and hailed a taxi. In the rearview mirror, I saw him frozen in place, like a soulless statue. 7. I moved out of the guest house and used the necklace left by my grandmother as collateral to rent a small apartment. Jiang-Sun helped me a lot. From finding a place to buying furniture, almost taking care of everything single-handedly. "You're a patient now. I'll handle these things," he always said, then arranged everything properly. My life became unprecedentedly calm. During the day, I would audit classes at the university, and in the evening, Jiang-Sun would come over to perform acupuncture on me to help regulate my body. I learned about the Lin family's affairs from the news, due to Lin Jiangwo being subjected to disciplinary measures. The Lin Group stock plummeted, their funding chain broke, and they quickly declared bankruptcy. Wang Shumei couldn't handle the blow, suffered a mental breakdown, and was admitted to a nursing home. and Lin Wei, the military court's verdict is in. 10 years, the most beautiful 10 years of a young girl's life will be spent behind bars. When I saw these messages, I felt nothing inside. It's not that I don't hate anymore, but that I don't care anymore. They are like a few stones I kicked aside on my life's path, stirring up some dust, but the road must still be traveled forward. The only one still haunting my life is Shin-chae. He comes to my apartment building almost every day, sometimes in the morning, sometimes late at night. He doesn't knock on the door or call. He just stands downstairs for hours on end, like a persistent, ridiculous, husband-waiting stone. I never go down to see him, that day. After Jiang Sun finished my acupuncture and was about to leave, he saw Shin-chae downstairs through the window. He's still there. Jiang Sun's tone was very calm. Let him be. I closed my eyes, feeling the slight numbness brought by the silver needles. Lin Nian, Jiang Sun suddenly asked, do you still have feelings for him? I opened my eyes, thought about it seriously, and then shook my head. No, neither love nor hate. To me now, he's just a passerby who made a mistake. Jiang Sun smiled, the light in his eyes shining brightly. That's good. After he left, I received an unexpected phone call. It was Shin-chae's mother, Mrs. Shen. Her voice was as haughty as ever, but with a hint of barely concealed urgency. Lin Nian, come out, let's meet. I don't think we have anything to meet about. Aren't you concerned about Shin-chae at all? For your sake. He has already submitted his application to the military district to transfer to civilian work. I froze. Transfer to civilian work. For a promising young officer like Shin-chae, transferring to civilian work is almost equivalent to ruining his own future. He's waiting for you at the cafe outside the military compound gate. After saying this, Mrs. Shen hung up the phone. I hesitated for a long time, but ultimately decided to go. It wasn't because I felt soft-hearted. I just wanted to personally put an end to this absurd chapter of the past. In the cafe, Shin-chae sat by the window, his back looking desolate. He had lost a lot of weight and was dressed in casual clothes, no longer carrying the upright posture and sharp aura he once had in his military uniform. When he saw me, his eyes instantly lit up. Nian Nian, you're here. I didn't sit down, just stood facing him. I came to tell you that any decision you make has nothing to do with me. You don't need to do these things to move me, and don't even think about using them to manipulate me. No, he stood up urgently. I'm not trying to manipulate you. I just want to make it up to you. Make it up to me. I laughed. With what? Compensate for the life that was stolen from me. Compensate for my trampled dignity. Or compensate for this body that's been hollowed out by drugs. Each word I spoke made his already pale face grow even paler. I'm sorry. Those were the only 3 words he could say. Shin-chae, save your cheap apologies. I looked at him, my eyes icy cold. I won't forgive you. Never. I turned to leave, but he suddenly hugged me from behind. Nian Nian, don't go. Please, don't go. His voice was choked with tears, like a helpless child. I know I was wrong. I'm a scoundrel. I'm not human. You can hit me, curse me, do whatever you want. Just don't leave me. His arm was wrapped so tightly around me that I couldn't break free. Just then, the door of the cafe swung open, and Jiang Sun walked in. When he saw the scene, his eyes instantly turned cold. He strode forward, grabbed Shin-chae's wrist, and twisted it forcefully. Shin-chae winced in pain and was forced to let go of me. Mr. Shen, Jiang Sun shielded me behind him, his voice devoid of any warmth. Please show some self-respect. 8. Who are you? I'm talking to Nian Nian. What business is it of yours? Shin-chae shook off Jiang Sun's hand, his hostility undisguised. Who I am is none of your concern. Jiang Sun stood his ground. You just need to know that Lin Nian doesn't want to see you. Now, please leave. What gives you the right to decide for her? Shin-chae turned to me, his eyes filled with hurt and pleading. Nian Nian, tell him that's not what you think, right? Looking at him like this, I just felt exhausted. Shin-chae, what he said is exactly what I think. I don't want to see you anymore, and I don't want to have anything to do with you. Please don't disturb my life anymore. My words became the final straw that broke him. He staggered back a step, the light in his eyes completely extinguished. Why won't you even give me one chance? Because the harm you've caused me was never just once, I said calmly, looking at him. Every time you chose to believe Lin Wei. Every time I was blamed by my parents while you stood by and did nothing. Every time you looked at me with that contemptuous gaze, you exhausted all our chances with your own hands. My life was already destroyed by you once. I've worked so hard to climb out, and I don't want to fall into the same pit again. Shin-chae, didn't you say you wanted to make it up to me? I looked at him and spoke word by word. Then the best way for you to make it up to me is to completely disappear from my world. Staying out of my sight and mind would be the greatest kindness you could show me. After saying that, I stopped looking at him, turned around, and left the cafe with Jong-sun. We did not look back. I don't know how long Shin-chae stood there, nor do I know if he ultimately withdrew that application for transfer. None of that has anything to do with me anymore. From that day on, Shin-chae truly disappeared from my world. My life completely returned to peace and normalcy. Under Jong-sun's careful care, my health improved day by day. Although I couldn't engage in strenuous exercise, I was already no different from a normal person. I applied to a university abroad, majoring in psychology, which I had always been very interested in. The offer came through very quickly. Before I left, Jong-sun threw me a farewell dinner. It's the same restaurant we always go to, the same table by the window. Living alone out here, you need to learn to take care of yourself, he said, putting food in my bowl while chattering away with his advice, just like an old father. I know, Dr. Jung, I teased him with a laugh. You're even more long-winded than my mom. His hand paused for a moment, then he smiled. All right, I'll stop talking. The meal ended in a relaxed and pleasant atmosphere. As we were leaving, Jong-sun suddenly called out to me, Lin Yen. I turned around. He took a small velvet box out of his pocket and handed it to me. I opened it and saw a bracelet inside. The design was simple, a delicate platinum chain with a small, leaf-shaped sapphire. The color was exactly the same as the necklace I was wearing. This is, your grandmother, back in the day, actually had a set of jewelry custom-made, Jong-sun said with a gentle look in his eyes. The necklace was given to you. As for this bracelet, she said it should be handed to your future husband when you get married, so he can personally put it on for you. She entrusted the bracelet to me, asking me to keep it safe for her. Now, I'm giving it to you. My eyes instantly welled up with tears. It turned out that Grandma had already prepared everything for me. Jong-sun, don't cry. He raised his hand and gently wiped away my tears with his fingertips. Your grandmother wanted you to be happy and joyful for the rest of your life. Just forget about all those unhappy people and things from the past. I looked at him, at the tenderness and determination in his eyes, and suddenly asked a question I had always wanted to ask. Jong-sun, do you, like me? He didn't avoid the question and nodded frankly. Yes. Since when? A long time ago. He smiled, back when you still saw me as a nagging doctor brother. My heart skipped a beat. 9. Jong-sun's confession was like a stone thrown into a lake, sending ripples through the waters of my heart. I stood there, momentarily unsure how to react. He seemed to notice my embarrassment and didn't press me, simply placing the bracelet in my palm. Don't feel pressured. I'm telling you this not to trouble you, but just to let you know that you're wonderful and worthy of love. Whatever choice you make, I'll support you. He took a step back, creating a safe distance between us. Go back and rest early. You have a flight to catch tomorrow. He waved at me, turned around, and walked away, his figure both carefree and lonely. I held the cold bracelet in my palm, watching him disappear into the night, my heart filled with mixed emotions. The next day, I boarded a flight to a foreign country alone. I didn't tell Jong-sun that I had changed my flight and left early. I needed time, and I needed space, to sort out my thoughts. A new environment and a new life have diluted the shadows of the past. I studied hard, actively participated in club activities, and made many friends from different countries. My life has become fulfilling and busy. Jong-sun and I have always kept in touch. We are like friends, sharing each other's lives. He would tell me about the interesting patients he saw that day, and I would complain to him about how terrible the food in our school cafeteria is. We never mentioned the confession from that night, as if it were just a harmless joke, but I know it wasn't. I can feel that he has been waiting, in a silent and gentle way. You protect me and wait for me. Time flies, and 2 years have passed in the blink of an eye. I have completed most of my studies and, with excellent grades, secured a spot in the university's combined master's and doctoral program. My supervisor, a highly respected professor in the field of psychology. Thinks very highly of me and has invited me to join one of his research teams. Everything is moving in a good direction. That day, I received an unfamiliar call from within the country. On the other end of the line was a voice that sounded old and weak. Is that Nian Nian? I was stunned for a long time before I recognized that it was Wang Shumei's voice. It's me, I said flatly. Nian Nian, could you come back and see your mother? I miss you. She started crying as she spoke. Your father. He couldn't hold on. He passed away inside. I remained silent, saying nothing. I know, we've wronged you. It's all our fault, but after all, we are your parents. Nian Nian, come back to see your father one last time. Her cries were heart-wrenching and desperate. If it had been 2 years ago, hearing this might have stirred some emotion in me, but now, my heart is as calm as still water. I can't go back, I said. I'm very busy with my studies, and I don't have the time. Lin Nian. On the other end of the phone, it seemed like someone else had taken over, their voice sharp and venomous. It's you. It's all because of you that our family is like this. You jinx, my sister loved you so much, yet you just stood by and watched her die. You'll get what's coming to you. Was that Lin Wei's aunt, or her aunt from her mother's side? It doesn't matter anymore. I didn't bother arguing with her any further and simply hung up the phone, putting down my phone. I walked to the window and looked out at the young faces coming and going on the campus, their faces brimming with youth and hope. Neither Lin Jiangwo's death nor Wang Shumei's plea stirred even the slightest ripple in my heart. Some people, some things, once missed, are gone for a lifetime. Blood ties could not become shackles to bind me either. I took out my phone and booked a flight back to my home country. Not to attend that funeral which has nothing to do with me, but because I want to see someone. I want to tell him that I am ready to embrace the new life that belongs to me. The moment I booked my flight, my phone vibrated. It was a message from Shin Che. This was the first time he had contacted me in 2 years. The message was very short. Nian Nian, I'm getting married, to a very ordinary girl. Thank you for helping me see myself clearly. I wish you, and I wish myself, peace and happiness in our separate lives. I looked at that message and smiled. Then, I put on the sapphire bracelet that had been lying in my jewelry box for 2 years. The size was just right. 10. The moment the plane landed, I felt as if a lifetime had passed. In 2 years, the city seemed unchanged, yet everywhere felt unfamiliar. I didn't contact Jiang Sun, but instead took a taxi directly to the hospital where he worked. I wanted to surprise him. It was lunch break, and there weren't many people in the hospital. I found his office from memory. The door was slightly ajar, and I could hear him talking with a young nurse inside. Dr. Jiang, let's have dinner together after work. I know a new Japanese restaurant nearby. The food is amazing. The young nurse's voice was lively and cheerful. No, I have plans tonight. Jiang Sun's voice was, as always, gentle. Plans again. Dr. Jiang, your love life has been quite flourishing lately. It's not a love life, Jiang Sun chuckled, his voice carrying a hint of indulgence that even I hadn't noticed. It's my star, coming back. My heart skipped a beat. I pushed the door open and walked in. Dr. Jiang, your star has returned. The two people in the office turned to look at me at the same time. The young nurse's face showed surprise and curiosity. As for Jiang Sun, the moment he saw me, his entire body froze. The medical record in his hand fell to the ground with a thud, but he didn't even notice. He just looked at me. His eyes filled with shock, ecstasy, and disbelief, until finally, all those emotions melted into a deep, unfathomable tenderness. He opened his mouth as if wanting to say something, but not a single word came out. It was the young nurse who reacted quickly. She glanced at me, then at Jiang Sun, let out a sudden "oh" of realization, and tactfully slipped away. I came back to get something. I'll leave right away. In the office, only the two of us remained. I walked up to him, looked at his flustered expression, and couldn't help but laugh. What's wrong? Don't you recognize me? Only then did he snap out of it, pulling me into his arms and holding me tightly. His embrace was strong, with a slight tremor, as if he wanted to press me into his very bones and blood. How did you suddenly come back? And without saying anything in advance, his voice came muffled from above my head. I wanted to surprise you. I leaned against his chest, listening to his steady heartbeat, feeling an unprecedented sense of peace. So, was it surprising enough? Was it joyful enough? Enough? He released me, cupped my face, and studied it carefully. You've lost weight. Not at all. I've actually gained 3 pounds, and the dark circles under your eyes are worse. That's from the jet lag. We were like two fools, exchanging meaningless conversation, yet neither of us could bear to look away. After a long while, he asked softly, "Are you leaving again this time?" I shook my head. "No, I'm not leaving." I looked into his eyes and said earnestly, "Jiang-sun, I came back this time for you." His breath hitched for a moment. I stood on my tiptoes and took the initiative to kiss his lips. His lips were soft, carrying a faint, clean scent of disinfectant, just like him, pure and reassuring. At first, he was a bit stiff, but soon, he took control and deepened the kiss. This is a kiss that has been delayed for far too long, filled with too much longing and waiting. When the kiss ended, we were both a little breathless, his forehead pressed against mine, the smile in his eyes almost overflowing. "Lin Yen, I've been waiting for this day for a very long time." "I know." I raised my hand and touched his face. "I'm sorry for making you wait so long." "Not long at all." He took my hand and kissed it gently. "As long as it's you in the end, no matter how long I wait, it's worth it." We looked at each other and smiled. The sunlight outside the window streamed through the glass, warm and bright. I knew that from this moment on, my life had truly begun. Those dark, painful, and unbearable past experiences have all become the prelude to my rebirth. And the person before me is the most brilliant star bestowed upon me by the heavens after enduring countless trials.